A tale inspired by the Hundred Years' War. A tale inspired by the Hundred Years' War. Prologue. Europe was drowning in chaos. Famine, plague, and greed tore across the land like a wildfire. Amid the ashes of fallen kingdoms and broken oaths, a war ignited that would rage for over a century, not for gold, nor glory alone, but for the right to wear a crown. In a quiet corner of France, a young peasant named Gautier de Boissy tended to fields under gray skies. But history had other plans for him. The boy who once feared the sound of thunder would soon ride through storms of steel. Chapter 1. Burnt Roots. In 1337, King Edward III of England claimed the French throne. France refused, and with that denial, war began. As soldiers marched and kings plotted, Gautier's village was reduced to cinders by English raiders. He was 15 when he picked up a sword for the first time, not out of honor, but vengeance. He fought at Crécy in 1346, watching English longbowmen shatter French chivalry. He learned a harsh truth. Courage meant nothing without strategy, and death never cared for noble blood. Chapter 2. Night of the Storm. Years passed. Gautier became a seasoned warrior. He survived the Battle of Poitiers in 1356, where the French king himself was captured. But it wasn't kings who decided the fate of Battlesit, was men like Gautier, who bled in the mud while nobles died in velvet. Between wars came the Black Death, a plague that devoured half of Europe. Gautier buried comrades not only from sword wounds, but from fevers that turned men to ghosts. Still, he fought. Not for France alone, but for his fallen friend, for a woman he loved and lost, and for the memory of a father murdered by mercenaries. Chapter 3. The Girl Who Heard the Sky. In 1429, a miracle arrived. Joan of Arc, a peasant girl not unlike Gautier, claimed to hear the voices of saints commanding her to save France. She was mocked, dismissed until she led soldiers to victory at Orléans. Gautier was among them. He saw broken men rise at the sound of her voice, not because she had power, but because she gave them something more rare: hope. Chapter 4. The Flame and the Fall. Joan was captured, burned alive in 1431 for heresy. Gautier watched the flames consume her and shouted at her judges, "She burns, and so will you in history." But the war dragged on. Finally, in 1453, the English lost their last stronghold in France. After 116 years of bloodshed, the Hundred Years' War came to an end. Epilogue. Gautier returned to his ruined village with gray hair and haunted eyes. He no longer feared war, he feared forgetting. He gathered his grandchildren and said, "War isn't about who won, it's about who lived long enough to tell the tale." And so, he told it of kings and chaos, of burning crowns and peasant heroes. Would you like me to continue this as a full story, or turn it into a short novel with more chapters and dialogue? Prologue.